I have seen many difficult things in rescue work, but that day is one I will never forget. Someone had left a small puppy inside a bag on the side of the road. No blanket. No food. No water. Just a helpless life discarded like it meant nothing. When I arrived and opened the bag, he wasn't moving. His eyes were tightly closed, and his body lay completely still. For a moment, I feared I was too late. Then I leaned closer and saw a faint, fragile breath. He was still alive. I quickly lifted him out and placed him gently on the ground. His body was weak and limp from hunger. He had likely been abandoned overnight. I could see how dehydrated he was. His small chest barely rose and fell. There was no time to hesitate. I began performing basic CPR, pressing gently on his tiny chest to stimulate his heart. Between compressions, I carefully gave him small amounts of water. It was a delicate process. His life depended on every second. "Stay with me," I remember whispering. After a few long moments, his breathing grew slightly stronger. Then, slowly, he opened his eyes. That simple movement felt like a miracle. He looked confused, exhausted, but alive. I offered him some dog food I had with me. At first he struggled to lift his head, but once he tasted the food, instinct took over. He began eating quickly, almost desperately. It was painful to watch. No animal should ever be that hungry. Even though he had regained consciousness, he was still very weak. I decided immediately to bring him home so I could care for him properly. When we arrived, I prepared fresh food and clean water. He ate as if he hadn't seen food in days. A full bowl disappeared within minutes. It was clear he had been starving for a long time. After resting for several hours, something changed. He slowly stood up and walked into the yard. His steps were shaky at first, but then he began to move more confidently. Within minutes, he was walking around me, wagging his tail gently. It was as if he understood he was safe. That afternoon, I gave him a warm bath. I wanted to wash away the dirt from his body, but also the fear from his past. As the warm water ran over him, he stood quietly. No trembling. No resistance. Just calm. Over the next few days, he grew stronger. His appetite returned fully. His eyes became brighter. The same puppy who had once been motionless inside a bag was now playful and curious. He began following me everywhere. When I walked, he walked. When I sat down, he stayed close. It was not dependence, it was trust. And trust is something precious. I often think about how close he came to dying alone by the roadside. If no one had stopped, his life would have ended quietly, without anyone knowing he had ever existed. But he survived. Not because of anything extraordinary. Simply because someone chose to stop and care. Today, he is healthy, energetic, and loved. He runs freely in the yard and sleeps peacefully each night. The fear that once shadowed his eyes is gone. Rescue work is not about being a hero. It is about responsibility. When we see suffering and have the ability to help, we are given a choice. That day, I chose not to look away. And because of that choice, one small life continues safe, warm, and deeply loved. He was abandoned once. He will never be abandoned again.